Here we are again. I'm trying to do another book review, this time by Julia Galef, The Scout Mindset. Now, I have to tell you, I've read this book, and it's a book I feel you have to read 2 or 3 times before a lot of it sinks in. There's a lot in there, but at the same time, it's fairly easy to read, which is very good. The main point, the main issue behind this book is that she's trying to get people to see with a scout mindset as opposed to a soldier mindset. People often go into battle for their beliefs. They want to defend their side. They have motivated reasoning or wishful thinking, which means they will defend one side and they don't see the good and indeed the bad parts of the other argument. Humans see what they want to see, basically, and this is a common human trait. But the point of this book is not just describing how this happens and why it happens, but also giving hints and tips on how to look at things with a more unbiased type of view. Of course, it's going to be difficult to do this, and even when you try to be unbiased, it's not going to turn out as easy as you think. For example, in chapter 6, How Sure Are You? She will describe how self-deception is quite easy to go ahead, and of course you always have peer pressure. People you relate to or people you're involved with will always be putting their point of view and affecting your judgment. Now, how can you have influence without overconfidence? It's a difficult thing. Now, one thing which really struck me, she mentioned the case of Mr. Bezos, the Amazon guy. And when he started out, when he was looking for investment, he always told people there was a 70% chance he wouldn't make it. Now, this is possibly going the other way, but at least it meant that people going to invest realised it was not a sure thing. There was always going to be a big element of risk, and perhaps they appreciated his honesty. Maybe they were just greedy, but he managed to get all the investment, because for many years they didn't make money compared to now when they do make a absolute shed load of money. Another point she does make in this is be prepared to change your mind. And again, we always say when the facts change, we'll change our opinion, but we don't often do that. So it's another key element in the book. I'm trying to summarise different elements of the book without going into too much detail, because it is a quick review. There are longer reviews available on YouTube, and if you want to find out more about this book, then maybe you should look at the longer reviews. But my opinion is a fantastic book. Towards the end of the book, she does go on and explain how beliefs become identities, and this talks about the surge in identity politics, which I'm sure we're all aware of, which infect us all today. So to avoid getting too identified with a particular belief or one side of the argument, she does ask you as a reader, as a participant, to take the ideological Turing test. Can you explain an opposing identity as a believer would? Make it sound authentic. And this is quite difficult. I tried it, for example, with the anti-vax campaign, and I can do this to a certain extent because, for example, we don't know how all these vaccines will affect our immune system 2 years later, 5 years later, 10 years later. We don't know what effect it may have on the children or children's children. And of course, we just don't know what the side effects are going to be long term. It doesn't mean I'm against vaccination. I've had my 2 jabs, and if any booster jabs come up, I'll probably take it. But I can understand the concern, particularly if you're younger and going to be raising kids. I can understand the concern. However, I do find it difficult for other viewpoints. For example, let's say the people supporting Brexit, and I've heard their argument, a global Britain. Wow, I don't think we're more of a global Britain now. I think we're a lot weaker. The United Kingdom's in danger of breaking up and the economy is going to tank. So global Britain out water. Control, we've seen less in control than ever, etc., etc. But this is something I've got to work on to work out why people are still supporting this crazy Brexit policy. Having said that, in the book, she does mention, if your country had never been in the EU, would you support going into it? And I can see this is a more difficult judgment call. Right, so I've blabbed enough here. This is the book, The Scout Mindset. It has been quite expensive to buy new, although it's a paperback, £14 in our shop, and we're one of the cheaper shops around. Maybe if you can pick it up second hand, but it's worthwhile paying the full dollar for it anyway. It can change your mind, but more importantly, help you to change your mind in the future when it's necessary. So 9.8 out of 10 for this book. Fantastic, and I can fully understand why a lot of bookshops sold out and the initial print run quickly sold out and we had to reorder. Get this book or miss out.